Hello my lovely ladies, welcome back to the channel, and welcome if this is your first time joining us. I am really excited to do this video because it was a request by one of you lovely ladies, subscribers, and it was about vetting a man. Now this is something that I usually get asked during my goddess check-ins and that we go in really in detail, but I usually tailor that advice towards what I know that you want. So if I know that you're interested in getting married, then I can give you an idea of what kind of guys to be looking for and how to vet them out. Or if you're, beginning dater and this is your first time even dating, how to go at it in that way. So I have like a specific way of doing it that is very individualized. But for this video, I'm going to make it as general as possible, so that way if you're just looking for some type of information or just kind of a foundation on what you should be looking for, then this is the video for you. All right, let's get into it. So when it comes to vetting, the first thing you need to realize is that it starts with you. That's the plainest way that I can put it, is that it starts with you. So what do I mean by that? You have to realize that it's what you accept, it's what you want. So the number one thing you need to do, like before you even see a guy, is know what you want. Know where you see your life is going. Actually have a plan. Say, this is how I see my life progressing, and this is what I want out of a relationship. If you yourself don't know what you want, you're not going to be able to identify that in someone else. So number one thing, you have to know what you want and you have to stick to it. You have to stick to your standards, stick to what you want. I mean, I'm not saying you can't be flexible in some type of way, but you should never go against your standards and your true desires, because you're only going to hurt yourself in the long run. And I know, like, even in my experience, I know when I was dating a couple of guys, when I was in a relationship before I got married, I was with this person, and every time that I would leave them after we finished hanging out, I would be so mad. I would be mad because of something he said, or I'd be mad because of just the situation, or, something about something would just make me mad every single time after I finished hanging out with him. And I thought that was weird. I thought that was like, why do I feel this way, right? This guy is my boyfriend or whatever. Like, why am I mad? And it was because there was a lot of things that didn't align with me, and I felt like I was like accepting them because, I was just accepting it just to accept it, because I didn't actually know what I wanted. So that is like off the ground beginning. You have to set that foundation with knowing what you want. So once you know what you want, that's when you look to the man, right? That's when you can say, okay, now I need to see who aligns with that. The number one thing I'm going to tell you is what I tell you all the time. I actually made a specific video about this, but I'll bring it up again. His career. You have to see his career. Before you even talk to him, before you know anything about him else, you have to know his career. If you're interested in a healthy, masculine provider male, which most of you women, if you're here, that is what you're looking for, you're going to want to have a man who's stable, who has a plan, who's been doing his career, he has a profession for a long time. Now, I will always tell you the number one professions to look forward to is professionals who have credentials to do what they're doing. So that's doctors, lawyers, engineers, if he's an exec, if he's a business owner, those kind of careers, like exec business owners, those are, you don't necessarily need a professional degree in that. There's no like degree in CEO or CFO, but like they come with credentials that align with the job that they're doing. So that's the reason why I tell you to look to that, is because if a man is a lawyer, let's say, he's going to be a lawyer for the rest of his life. He can work at a law firm or he can go open up his own law firm. He's always going to be a lawyer. If he doesn't want to, you know, use his lawyer credentials to get money, that's one thing, but you know he will be a lawyer for the rest of his life. As long as he keeps his license active, he's going to be a lawyer for the rest of his life. Even if he takes time off, he can go get it reactivated and can become a lawyer again. Like, he will never get that title taken away from him. So you can trust that, right? You know, like, no matter what, he is a lawyer. He has this profession. The same thing goes with a doctor. I know doctors that work in, 3 hospitals. And the reason why they can do that is because they want to work here, they want to do here, or, you know, they just get these assignments in 3 different hospitals, or he can go open up his own practice. Like, this is something that they will do probably for the rest of their life, and it's stability. That's the first thing you should be looking to. If he's an executive, he's a CEO, a COO, a CFO, a president, or anything like that, you know, like, if he's doing it here, he can go do it somewhere else. Sorry, I think a bird just came over there. If he's doing it here, he can do it somewhere else. He always has the ability to actually make money in that field. Whatever he's doing, he can do it over and over again. He can start his own business. He has that ability. So that's why I always tell you ladies to look at men with those type of professions, that they're not just, you know, one of the staff. He's actually a key player in any business or, you know, anything that he's doing. So those type of guys are always around, they're available, and I would just be open to those kind of guys only. Not only because of financial stability, which is a plus, which, you know, that's important, that's very, very important, but that also shows you that he has a lot more to lose. So that's, you know, protects you safety wise, you know, like, he's not going to probably do anything too crazy because he wants to continue to make his money, and if this is how he makes his money, he's not going to give that up. You know, he's not going to be crazy unless he's ready to risk it all. So that gives you a sense of protection. But it also, to add another layer to that, it also shows you that he has accomplished something in his life. He's not just a guy who's going about life, you know, doing just nothing or anything or whatever. He's a focused man. He can go after a goal and he can get it, right? He's accomplished a big thing. It takes a lot to become an attorney. It takes a lot to become a doctor. It takes a lot to become an exec. It takes a lot to become a business owner or whatever he does. So let's get into even business owners and stuff like that. When someone is a business owner, you want to make sure that they're not in the like grassroots level of building their business. I know we hear all these stories of like, I was there in the beginning and we hustled and grew together and all that stuff. And that's great for people who want that. But again, this isn't the channel for you, because that's not what I sign up for, or any of you ladies sign up for. We want someone who's already accomplished these things. We can come into that, and instead of like building that, because I think that is just like a different type of lifestyle, that this isn't that. So with those kind of guys, these business owner guys, you want to see that he's successful at this, that his business is making money, that he has employees, that he actually has been doing this for a long time, that is sustaining him and sustaining his lifestyle. That will be a good indication that, okay, he's stable, he has this business, it's doing well for him. It's something that is creating value in the world and in his life and in your life. And, you know, you can see that growth. So definitely look at the man's profession, and that will kind of set you up to know a load of things that you didn't necessarily have to have a conversation about him. And usually if you say meet him out in person and it's not online, and he doesn't say it online or anything like that, but you meet him in person, men usually will tell you what they do. Men are very prideful, especially with their work. If it's something prestigious or looks really good, they're going to tell you, right? I have yet to meet a lawyer who didn't tell me he was a lawyer, right? I have yet to meet a doctor who didn't tell me he was a doctor. They pretty much let you know because it's an accomplishment. It's something great. You know, if you did something amazing, you're going to tell somebody. If you were a governor, you're going to tell someone. If you did anything that's worth doing, you're going to tell someone. So that is something that he will tell you straight up. Now, if a man is kind of like weary and doesn't want to tell you what he does, or if he says like, I'm an entrepreneur, but doesn't tell you the business, I would be really skeptical about that, because most entrepreneurs have a business and they're not going to tell you I'm an entrepreneur. They're going to tell you I have this business doing such and such, right? They're going to just tell you what the business is, because entrepreneur is just kind of like a buzzword, and it's something that's been, it's just like something that is kind of like cringe to me, and it's like shows me like you're not actually doing anything, or it's not actually making money. Because say if I have like a candy shop, right, and I built this candy shop, am I going to tell a person I am an entrepreneur, or I'm going to tell them and say, oh, I own this candy store? I'm going to tell you what I do. I'm not going to just be vague and say I own this candy shop. And that's like weird. Like nobody says that. Like if you're a real estate developer and this is your business, you're not going to say I'm an entrepreneur. You're going to say I'm a real estate developer. You're going to say what it is that you actually do, what services you actually provide. So if a man is being very vague and doesn't want to tell you, then yeah, that to me is a non-starter. He should be open and willing to tell you his career. On the other end, with women, I have a whole other way of being. I don't really like talking about what I do with men. It's just kind of like a conversation I don't like having, and most women don't like having, because they don't want a work-based conversation. But men pride themselves on their work, right? And they use that to be more attractive to women. And that is, it's just the honest truth. They do become more attractive. If you find out a man is, say a neurologist, you're not going to act the same way if he was just like a retail worker, right? You're not going to look at him in the same way. You're going to look at him as a real front runner, a real possibility, because you know, like, okay, this guy can support me, can support a family, has a lot going for him, is prestigious, he has like a focus, a career. You're going to look at him like he's worth something. And not saying that the other person isn't worth something. If you work in a job and you're just staff or anything like that, you're worth something, of course. But for the women who want to date on this kind of level that I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, I feel like I always have to say something, because it's kind of like there's always going to be people who's going to be taking events of things, and it's just kind of like so annoying. Yeah, and I have a dress on, just so you guys know. This top is giving a lot of cleavage, but I do have a dress on. It's just so hot outside, and yeah, I just needed to put on something that was a lot more set for the weather. This is actually more of like a summer dress, and I know we're in fall, but it's so hot, honestly. And I just ordered some new fall clothes, and it didn't come in yet. So, and I have fall clothes, but they're mostly like sweater dresses. And yeah, I just needed something silk and easy and whatever. So anyways, let's go to the next thing. Another thing that I want you ladies to kind of pay attention to when you're vetting a guy is just what he tells you. So if you want marriage, right? If you're dating for marriage, if you're dating for serious commitment, and you guys get in the conversation and he's like, oh, well, I want to get married someday. That right there, to me, shows me that he's not trying to do that right now. And if you're trying to get married, not saying you're trying to get married tomorrow, but marriage is on your mind. Like, you want to get married. You're dating for marriage. And this guy just says, I want to get married someday. Right there, he's not interested in getting married the same, like, speed level as you. He's probably more interested in probably long-term girlfriend or something like that. And that's perfectly fine. But if that's not aligned with you, you need to pick up on those hits. If a person really wants to get married, he's going to say, yeah, like I do want to get married. Like, I want to have children. I want that type of thing. That's why I'm dating. Then that's like, okay, we're aligned with that. But if he's like, oh, like I want that someday, that will come someday. I wouldn't waste my time with him, because essentially he's telling you right there, yeah, that's over there. And that's something I used to say when I was dating not very seriously, I would always know that I wanted to get married and I wanted children, but that was like in the far distance to me, right? It was like something that's going to happen, but it's not something that's going to happen right now, and not something that's going to happen with you, right? So I would just kind of say, you know, someday, right? And that's what, you know, a huge thing to look at is like the things that you find important and the things that you value, do they align with him? Does he put as much importance in it as you? Now, you don't have to be the same person. You don't have to want the same exact thing, but once you look at a person's value and what they prioritize, that can pretty much let you know if you're aligned with him or not. So I said this in my last video on what values to look for in a man. Whatever values you find valuable, he essentially needs to find the same things valuable, because if he doesn't, then you're going to be going against yourselves. It could start an argument. It could just cause like just unwanted drama, and just don't waste your time with that. Another thing that I want you to be mindful of what men tell you is, if he tells you that he is dating other women. Now, this is a double standard, I know, and I don't care. This is a double standard, because I do think that women, when you're dating, especially if you're dating for marriage, you should be rotational dating. You should have more than one man in your roster, because you need to see, you know, who's going to step up to the plate. You know, you can't just put all your eggs in one basket. As women, we would love to do that. We love doing that. But at the end of the day, it kind of hurts us in the long run if we don't keep our options open until that person truly locks it down and makes that commitment and asks you for marriage and wants to be with you in that serious kind of matter, because then we just get upset if things don't work out, and then we can trick ourselves into staying in a relationship longer than we need to. And if you just had your option open and you've seen like men treating you differently, and one maybe treating you better than another one, and you're seeing like these different men and how they actually interact with you and what they want for their future, you can get a better idea of who's probably best for you instead of just locking it down with the guy. I get that, right? But if a man is going to tell me or you or anybody that he's dating, that I'm dating other women, instantly, you're done for me. Because even if he is, I don't want him to tell me that, right? That makes me feel like you're disrespecting me. That makes me feel like you don't like me, that you don't care. Because any man in his right mind, if he's interested in you, if he likes you, he's never going to tell you that he's dating other women. He's just never going to say that. Why would he ruin his chances with you to tell you that he's going to date other women? So if a man is going to say something like that, done. I would get rid of him. Don't want anything else to do with him, because he's disrespectful. And why would he tell you that, right? It's testing you, because men know these things. Men are very intelligent and they know how women want to be treated. And I mean, if you even ask a man, you know, how he would be if he was a woman. And I have asked this question, and men have said, you know, if I was a woman, I would be dating this caliber of man. I would be acting like this. I wouldn't, you know, give it up to this. If you see how they even raise their daughters to be, like what kind of men they want their daughters to be with, they would not let their daughters be with losers. And if he does, I just look at him as less than a man. I'm like, well, obviously, like, you have no control. But like, most men want, if they were a woman, would be a high level woman. And if they had daughters, they would want their daughters to be a high caliber woman. So that's something that I want you to think of with how a man talks to you and what he's willing to say to you, because he knows better. No man is going to do that. That's like a man telling you, you know, you don't look that cute today. Like, why would you tell me that? Why would you tell a woman she doesn't look that cute today unless you're not interested in that woman? Look at things from like a real point of view, and don't necessarily take it personal. Just take it for what it is. If a man is telling you like, oh, you know, you ain't all that, you're not that, you know, you ain't that girl or anything like that. If he's not, I'm not telling you he has to like gas you up, but if he's like bringing you down a couple notches, yeah, I would not be interested in that. I don't want anybody who's giving off hater vibes. I don't want anybody who's in competition with me. I don't want anybody who's just giving off an energy of like, that I will accept disrespect. Like that, those kind of things are just a no-go for me, a no start for me. So if a man is telling you that he's dating other women, or he just wants to casually date you, or he's only hitting you up at a certain hour, or just kind of giving off like kind of he's not that interested, but since you're into him, he's into you, no. Don't do that. So if he's telling you, hey, come over to my house, or if he's just kind of like not interested in impressing you, he's not really showing up, like looking presentable, he doesn't want to take you anywhere nice, you know, he doesn't want to spend any real time getting to know you or hanging out with you, then I would not be interested in that man. That man is basically telling you like, I'm looking for something casual. I'm not really here for that. And the thing it is with those kind of men, they're easier to get rid of once you are dating a lot of men, because then you're not going to waste your time with, you know, this kind of man if you have like a roster of other guys that you can be dating that are more interested in you and that actually want to spend time with you. So I would definitely, just be mindful of that. Like I said, I know it's a double standard. I don't need anybody in the comments telling me that's a double standard. Yes, I know. And it's like, at the end of the day, if he is dating other women, which he might be, fine. I just don't want to know about it, right? Like the same thing, I'm not going to go and tell a guy who's like clearly super interested in me that I just went on a date last night. Like, I'm just not going to do that. That's rude. It's disrespectful. But I am going to let him know, like, if I see a future with him, especially that I want to get married, and if it's not going to happen here, then I gotta find that, because that's what I want more than anything. More than I want your friendship, I want to get married. I want a family. I want to start, you know, that part of my life. And if he's that much interested in you, he's going to lock it down. He's like, I want that with you. Like, yes, I get that. I want that with you. And that's pretty much like, with that aspect. And I think that it's so disrespectful when men do that. And I mean, that's never happened to me, but I just know like that's disrespectful. So yeah, don't do that. Another thing that I want you ladies to think about when you're vetting these guys is that you can only vet a person so far, right? Like the same thing, like if you're hiring someone and you have these credentials that you need and all of these, you know, experiences that you need them to have, but that can only take you so far. You can only see them for who they are once they are actually in your life, right? Once they actually show up. So sometimes you can go as far and they can seem like the perfect person and they're great. And then you get in a relationship with them and then you're like, not so great. So I don't want you to get discouraged. And it's like, oh, well, I don't know how to vet a person. Is that you can only vet a person so far before they show you who they are. And it's fine who they are, right? It's no problem if this is the person that they are. They just don't align with you. And I think that's another thing when you're vetting someone, is like accepting if a person isn't who they portrayed in the beginning, that you're able to say, okay, that's fine. You know, I just got to move on. I just got to go and find something else and just move on with my life. And I think that's something that I've always done. Like, it's just been in my energy. Like, even with jobs, like I never really took jobs seriously because I just was like, well, I'll just get another one that's better, that pays me more. And then that would just happen, right? Because that was just my energy. I never put so much emphasis on this needing to be like the thing, like it needed to work out with this person. And that's like in relationships, I did the same thing. If a person didn't align with me, it's like, all right, well, you know, I'll just date someone else and it'll be better than this situation. And then it ended up being better than this situation. So don't hold on to like the idea of someone, hold on more to the idea of what you want, because that's more important than whoever fills the space, right? And then as that person grows into the space, then they become more important than what you want, but they don't like go against what you want. if that makes sense, right? Because when you're in a relationship, you grow with the person, you see certain things that are not complete deal breakers, but not everything's gonna align all the time. But as long as your values are there and you know that this person is solid, then you're pretty much good to go. But if the values aren't there, they're not solid, they're not really, you're not seeing it truly with them, then you need to move forward. You need to move on. So I think that is pretty much what I wanted to share in this video. I know that there's probably things I left behind. I didn't write anything down. Like I said, I'm kind of like all over the place today. I have so much to do, but I did want to make this video to answer that question that I saw in the comments in one of my previous videos. But yeah, if there's anything that I missed or something specific that you want to ask me, just ask it in the comments and I will respond in the comments, or, I might make a video about it if it's a good idea that I see that it's like a good topic to talk about. Just let me know in the comments. Also, like the video. That's also really great and helpful if you ladies would like the video, and subscribe to the channel. Would love to have you here, and it's really fun connecting with other women and like kind of helping you all out, because I really do think that women deserve the world. I think that we kind of live in a crazy kind of society right now. The modern world is very interesting to say the least. And I think there's so many like narratives for women and how women should be and how women need to be in this world. And it's kind of like, if we align, if our values align, if you think that, we're on the same page, then subscribe to the channel, because I mean, we should have this kind of sisterhood, especially when there's so many other movements going on and people think so differently. And I think it's so hard, especially for me and the way that I think and the way that I function. It's hard to connect sometimes. And I feel like sometimes I'm even convincing people to like think like me, which I don't want to do. I think it should be natural. And I think, this way of being should be natural for you, and you should want that for yourself. So yeah, if you feel aligned, please subscribe to the channel. And also, if you do want some of my assistance personally, then you can always reach out to me for a goddess check-in, and I can help you vet these guys. I can help you with your dating. I can give you advice on your relationship. Like, this is something that I love doing, and I spend my time doing it, and it brings me happiness to know that I'm helping other women get the relationships that they want. And that's just like everything to me. So if that's something you want, my information is in the description, so you can reach out to me there. All right, now I will see you in the next video. Bye.